Talk these QBs.
Whoa.
I'm ready to talk these QBs. You ready to talk these QBs, man?
I am, dude.
Okay, because that's what I want.
I don't even think I wrote them down. I don't even have them written down.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Go
need
status
it.
then, man.
I don't need it.
Who cares then? Don't write them down.
Yeah.
Don't write
You
them
know
down.
what?
You think you bad?
I did.
Yeah. All right. So we go 5-5, 4-4, 3-3, 2.
Sure.
That's what we're gonna do?
Sure.
All right.
You go first.
All right, cool. For me at number 5, I got Trey Lance, man. I think that he is the most intriguing and the most dangerous. You watch him on tape, big, strong, fast, can run with the best of them, has a nice arm, mechanics. I would like to see him worked on a little bit more, but as a whole, I think a really good player. That's the upside. The scary part is playing the FCS at North Dakota State, where even the teams that they're playing on just a week in and week out basis aren't the same caliber that he would typically see, in a conference like how JMU plays in the CAA, where it's just a lot more talented teams. Then you factor in that he played, a year ago, but then only just had one game this season. And we said in that one game, it was against a little bit better competition, and it wasn't as dominant as it had looked before. So for me, even though I love, what I watch when you see him, he's just fun to watch. He's an exciting player. Just the thought process of, man, this guy is super unproven, not only from just the jump of FCS to NFL, but now you're also going to add in not a lot of football. I mean, what, 14 or no, excuse me, about 16, 17 games total right now. That makes me nervous. So that's why I have him at 5. 5 only because of experience. The talent is what keeps him in the top 5 today.
Sure, no, that's really fair. And he's going to go in the top 10 probably.
Absolutely.
Some people are saying the 49ers now.
I've seen it. It
was Mac Jones. Now it's 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. I have him at number 5 too. And for all the same points too. It's just like, are we really ready to just go all in on this guy as the franchise quarterback? Top 10. Yeah. Now it's different. Later first round, kind of like Jordan Love last year. If he's going to wait behind someone.
Right.
That could happen. And even like Colin Kaepernick, whenever he came in after Alex Smith, like he waited a year or two. Like that might be the play with Trey Lance. Just at this point with the other quarterbacks that are available, I think they're a little bit more pro ready and can start and play pretty well. Well, who knows? Trey Lance could too. That's the thing.
Well,
I mean, being honest with you, like all this is just like a shot in the dark. Because you could probably say the same things about like Josh Allen or Carson Wentz, some of these other dudes that are in these smaller schools.
Yeah.
Like, I like it. Like, I'm seeing a lot of these good things. The arms there. I like the mobility. But will it translate to the NFL? Josh Allen, it took him actually like a couple years where you're like, holy hell, he's the Buffalo Bills franchise quarterback. Right. So, with any of these, it's like, dude, we might not know in 2 or 3 years.
I just wanted to tell you, man, I love your growth, bro.
What do you?
Holy
I got
cow.
nothing against Josh Allen.
Holy cow. I never thought I would consistently just hear those words flow out your mouth like that. I'm sorry, y'all know I'm black and gold to the day I die. Y'all know this, all right? But I already told y'all. That's my side. That that's my first girl. You know what I mean? That she got me prepared for my marriage.
we saw what happened when we got bounced. Dude. We saw it hurt. It really hurt. It really hurt.
So forgive me for getting excited when you said that the Buffalo Bills had a franchise quarterback of Josh Allen, because I remember we were going to war here some days behind that, man. We went to war.
I was wrong.
Sweat, yelling back and forth. Like,
I don't have anything to hold on to about that take. Like that was just wrong. It was wrong.
I appreciate you though, man.
But dude, maybe it could be the same thing with Trey Lance.
Seriously,
it sucks because it's just like you're almost giving up on your own take, saying like, oh, who knows what's gonna happen, but. I mean, that's really the case with, especially quarterbacks, dude. It is. It's like 50-50.
Well, and that's what I have to say, man. What's the likelihood of all 5 of these quarterbacks actually being franchise caliber quarterbacks? Not just starters, franchise guys. And we said what a franchise quarterback is. When you think of your Josh Allens, we obviously said Ben Brady. Those are like your franchise caliber guys. The likelihood of all 5 of these guys getting drafted, becoming that, we know it's less than 50%. It doesn't happen. I mean, you just look at the history of first-round draft pick quarterbacks and how many of them become franchise quarterbacks. It's not a lot of them. Like you're always, hoping and wishing, flipping a coin. It just is what it is. So a lot is just to basically say, like, your sentiment, what you were saying at the end about, man, I feel like I'm shooting down my own argument. You're not. It's just the reality of it. It's the facts associated with it.
I feel weak by doing it, though.
But it's the facts associated with it.
You know how sports is. It's like, this guy's going to be it. I promise you he's going to be the guy.
Yeah, but it's just like, we how many times we hear people say that, and then they're constantly coming back saying, all right. Well, some of them say, all right, they were wrong. Other ones, they just keep going with it until it eventually something hits. And then they're like, I told you. It's like, bro, stop it. You're lying to yourself. You know what I mean? So
I'm not as invested in the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is, because I know Steelers were good. Like,
Yeah.
if we were looking for a guy, I'd probably like dig a little deeper and say,
Yeah.
like, this is the guy we have to pick.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. I feel the same thing about the running backs, though. Maybe I'm kind of off on that, because with the running backs, I'm like, we could go with any of the top three guys.
Yeah, I think, man, as long, well, it's easier, like I said, because we don't need a quarterback right now in terms of this year's draft. But with the running back, I think because we know we're still going to have the opportunity to get at least one of our top three guys.
Maybe it's the position too.
It changes, and we don't value running back the same as how we value quarterback.
Yeah.
Or I think if it was like left tackle, even though we still technically need a left tackle, it's like we still already have somebody on the roster, worst case, that we feel good about in terms of Zach Banner. So I think even that kind of changed that dynamic of just why we talk about the way we talk about these guys right now. Man.
Sure. So I'm with you, Trey Lance at 5.
All right.
4.
So now at no, you said Trey at 4?
No, I got him at 5.
Yeah, okay. I had him
at
5. Okay, so now for me at number 4, this is why I have Mac Jones.
Whoa.
I love his game. You know that. But this is my problem. This is my biggest issue with Mac Jones.
Okay.
It's super hard to evaluate him. In terms of, I watch his tape, I watch Trevor Lawrence tape, I watch Justin Fields tape, I watch Zack Wilson, I watch all these guys tape. And the difference between his tape versus everyone else's, his wide receiver talent. It was just gross, bro. I know we tried to say Clemson with Trevor that first year, and I'm with you, but it was not looking like, bro, I'm watching Alabama. I'm just like, I'm trying to find just a contested throw, and it's like the majority of them is 2 to 3 yards separation.
He throws some dots though.
No, but that's why I have him still in my top 5. Because it's
77% completion.
It's easy when you see how wide open these guys are.
I get it, but I thought he was hitting everyone in stride, or if it was contested,
so
it was on the money. But go ahead.
You gonna get your chance. Yeah, you get your chance.
I think I'm good, actually.
You get your chance, man. But the thing is this, man, in terms of contested throws, sure, on a highlight, you might have 7 of them up there, but I want to see it more consistent. The flip side, you look at Zack Wilson, 90% of Zack Wilson's throws, highly contested, on the money. Darts, night and day from what we saw with Mac Jones. Mac Jones, he's setting guys in stride, but when a guy's running 4 yards by himself, you better be able to hit these guys in stride. So that's why, for me, I have him at 4, because I need to know, can you throw NFL open? NFL open isn't 4 yards. NFL open is right here. I'm touching you, and you got to put it over there. I haven't seen it consistently enough from him because he hasn't had to. I mean, when you got Devontae Smith over here, you got Jalen Waddle over here, you got whoever you want to have, this guy and that guy. It's just like, yo, it's got too much out here. So that's ultimately why I have him at 4.
Is it Tua that concerns you? Like coming out of Alabama, anything like that?
I don't care. What is Tua or any other prospect have to do with these? Like, that's another thing I always get mad about when I hear people say, well, what about the last quarterback that came from there? What they got to do with this guy? If that's the case, we would never hear about a Carson Wentz. If that's the case, we would have never heard about the first guy, or we would have never got a Ben Roethlisberger, right? Because who was the last good quarterback from Miami of Ohio? You know what I mean? Like, we would never go that route if that was the case. So that's why, for me, I don't really care who came out of there before. I'm caring about this guy right here. Every year, every play, I look at them as like their own individual situation. Like, I don't want to carry the baggage of a year ago, because if that's the case, we could go down the list of a lot of schools' track records, and we're going to be saying to ourselves, well, I probably shouldn't take that guy because that guy over there, he wasn't good, when he came out. And who knows what the circumstances were surrounding him,
All right, so my number 4 is Zack Wilson, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I've heard about him is that he's amazing. He's the next Patrick Mahomes. He's the next Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. And I get it. He throws a good ball. At the same time, I'm watching these highlights, and there's something missing. I don't know what it was. And it's not missing in the Justin Fields highlights, even the Mac Jones or the Trevor Lawrence. Maybe it's because they are playing for the better teams. Whatever it is, maybe it's because the ESPN announcers are going a little bit more crazy. I have no clue. But something about Zack Wilson's, I'm like...
Hey, first off, don't be coming at my announcers for the BYU games. One of my dogs, former teammate, one of my OGs, Kirk Morrison, he's a part of the ESPN broadcast that calls these Mountain West games, all right? And I personally tune in because I like to hear my dog speak, all right? So don't be coming at that. Now he don't get as hyped as like what you hear on these bigger networks. I'm with you on that. But still, you better tune in some of this Thursday night football, man. Come on, bro. That Jamie coming on 11:30 at night. I'm like, yeah, I need something to go to sleep to.
I don't know what it is, dude. I'm fine with him. I just don't see the hype to where they're saying he's like the number 1 QB prospect in this draft. And you're right. I saw a lot of good throws actually, like on the money, and some of them were contested where I actually had to take a step back and say, this guy's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's just something about Mac Jones, Justin Fields, and Trevor Lawrence that I like better than him. That's all.
Okay. I like it.
I can't put words to. I mean, I think what people are really excited about with him is like that pro day throw, how he's able to move his arm in different direction. He is a little bit mobile, but I don't know, dude. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. This is just gut feeling though. I like the other 3 prospects better than him.
I like it. So for me then at number 3, this is why I have Zack Wilson. I think that number 1, he's a very underrated runner. You watch him, he's stepping around some people out there. I did like that a lot, but obviously the level of competition is different. I mean, he's going against Navy, what was that saying? Utah State. I think one of them teams up there. Like, it's a little bit different, but the flip side, and I think this is what you were talking about in terms of the highlight, right? Because I kind of had that same feeling, like, man, I like his highlight, but it's something off. You don't have the explosive touchdown plays like you're seeing with the other guys. But that goes back to what I was saying with the receivers. Think about how many times we watch Trevor Lawrence, we watch Mac Jones and Justin Fields. They're hitting a guy 20 yards or 30 yards, and then that guy takes off for the rest. You know what I mean? Or he makes a guy miss, especially to Alabama. You watch Alabama, these dudes are just doing freaky stuff. Or even when you was watching Trevor Lawrence when he was throwing to T. Higgins, it's like, bro, this is just crazy. With Zack had good receivers for his level, but them guys aren't even close to, what those other guys have. So he's putting balls perfectly placed, sometimes in double coverage or at least very tight coverage. But that's why I said I'm high on him, because all of those throws translate to Sunday. Because 90% of the time when you're throwing the ball in the NFL level, it looks like where he was doing in terms of the windows. And that's why I'm a lot more confident in terms of his ability to throw the ball at this level. Now, the biggest thing that I want to see is how is he going to respond to the better defenders?
And, or even big moments too.
Right, because we haven't seen that, right? Yeah. You're playing at BYU. It's not going to be the same as when it's Monday Night Football and this is the Pittsburgh Steelers you're playing against or the Ravens. Like, how do you handle that? And even though from a size standpoint, it says it's 6'3", we both said he still kind of looks short.
He looks like 6 foot, man.
Right, and I want to see, okay, how does that translate? Because we've had successful, right? Yeah, we've seen shorter quarterbacks be successful. We don't have to go down the list of them, but there's a reason why the majority of the leagues that are the majority of quarterbacks in the NFL that are successful are taller, because you have these big offensive linemen and you need to be able to see. Without that, you have to move the pocket. We talk about with Baker how, man, you got to get him out the pocket. We talked about with Drew Brees, they want to open up the middle of the field for him to see. The thing that we would always say when you're playing against him, you want to have D linemen that can just keep that pressure in his face so that way he can't see over the line. And teams that have done that, he struggled against them. So that's why it is important where it's like, man, is this guy really 6 foot or is he really 6'3"? Like I said, on tape, he looks shorter than 6'3". But I still can't take away from what I see with his arm, though. And that's ultimately why I have him as the 3rd best quarterback.
Yeah, sure. I have nothing against that. Maybe it is my whole thing of like, I need to see the big moments. And I saw this from the first 3 quarterbacks that I have on my list.
Very true.
And I don't think there's enough there's like Zack Wilson's upside obviously is probably higher than Mac Jones. Now, I don't know if it's higher than Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence, though. I think they're kind of like all in that range.
I agree, yeah.
But yeah, in terms of Mac, I've seen it with Mac Jones, though, dude.
Yeah,
and that's one. And so I have him at 3. And one of the things I like about him, I don't know if it's just maybe I'm going based off other people's comparisons, but they say Tom Brady, and
I love how he moves.
His throwing motion does look like Tom Brady, dude. And like you said, even how he moves in the pocket, he shuffles really good. Big moments in the playoffs, so you can't take that away from him. I don't think there's anything about his game that you can knock outside of just he's almost like a throwback, and like everyone's looking to the next style of quarterback like Mahomes, like what Zack Wilson can bring to the table. So that's all it is for me. Maybe I'm just old school in my thinking a little bit with it.
Well, I'm not opposed to you being old school in your thinking. Trust me, I've been torn. You saw you got a little glimpse of my list beforehand.
I know you flipped it on me.
I've switched my list probably 3 or 4 times, mainly because of those guys right there: Mac Jones, Trey Lance, and Zack Wilson. Like, to me, depending on what day it is, I can make a case of why I like this guy a little bit better than that guy on that day. When I made my list 2-3 days ago, it was drastically different in terms of how those 3 guys rated. But watching it again today, I'm like, no, I feel like this is how it should be. So, yeah, I don't think you can go like I said, it's a coin flip with any of those
I
guys.
like those top 4,
but I still feel confident in them. Like I said, to me, the top 4 minus Trey Lance, I feel super confident in. It's just with Trey Lance, the lack of experience, the lack of just playing time, and the difference in level of competition. That all, just kind of weighs into this thing. But now for number 2, I got Justin Fields. I'm not one of these guys who are going to talk myself out of the Justin Fields thing. We said how this guy goes from being the number 2 rated quarterback to now you talking about he might not be top 10. Like, it's like, come on, man. We don't have time for all this nonsense. You watch the tape, the kid can run, he can throw, shows up in big moments, leadership. I mean, everything you're looking for, loves the game. I'm cool on it. Like, that's the guy. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking too. Extremely accurate, like down the field, like big throws, big moments. Yeah. And whenever I was doing some of the research for this, everyone's talking up Zack Wilson, man. I'm like, okay, I'll believe you. I'll believe you. I checked the tape. Hey, yeah, he's fine. I'm like, was I missing something on Justin Fields whenever I watched him a couple games throughout the season? Where I'm like, is this guy in competition with Trevor Lawrence? Because I really think he's that good. Yeah. And then I checked again. I'm like, no, I wasn't missing anything. Now people are just really nitpicking stuff and going crazy.
It's crazy.
So I was listening to Chris Sims. He said with Justin Fields, one of his main things was he's really a one-read quarterback. But then, hold on, hear me out on this. But this is why it's crazy, because I think it's just nitpicking and maybe even lacking context. Where I listened to another guy talking about Justin Fields. He's like, Ohio State system, they do wide receiver options and reads.
What it is.
So it makes it so much more confusing for the quarterback.
So, but if you're watching, you don't understand that.
Right.
You look at it as one read because he's locked in on this guy. But he's really reading the option. It's no different than what Brady was doing for a while when it was Wes Welker and Edelman, right? Where they're going to run an option route. If you have inside leverage, that guy's going to come right at you, burst, and run away. If you got outside leverage, he's going to come at you, chop, 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 burst, and go across you. And the quarterback has to sit there and just, all right, which way is he going? And then react. Ryan Fitzpatrick and Stevie Johnson in Buffalo used to do it a lot there as well. Stevie was a 1,000-yard receiver, 3 years in a row, running that same thing. And Fitz was lighting it up in Buffalo, running that same style. But at times, you're just going to be sitting here like, all right, what we looking like? So that's why for me, I'm like, I don't really like that knock. And we also felt that at times, like, the criticism for Justin wasn't right. I mean, they talked about his work. They talked about, like, overall, if he had character issues and all these other things. And now
I don't know where the hell that's coming from.
And then guys, like, they had to come back and do public apologies and backtrack. But it's just like, once you put that type of information out there, now you see, like, how, and we always say this all the time, right? You throw that fake news out there quick or that lie out there, man, everybody's going to hear that and run with it. Then when you come back and backtrack and apologize, no one even talks about that. So all the criticism that Justin Fields was getting during that time was like, bro, none of this is accurate. None of this is facts. Like, where do you come up with this nonsense? But that's kind of why they've made it so, okay, well, I think I like Zack Wilson a little bit better than Justin Fields now. I think I want Mac Jones instead of him. He's like, bro, you weren't saying that. You watched the tape. You're not saying that. Like, this is the guy right here.
Yeah, he can move like Cam Newton, it looks like, but then kind of better in the pocket. And I think he has better touch on his passes too.
I agree.
I'm trying to think of anything else. And going back to the leadership, though, if anything, I've always thought he was a leader. He was the one pushing for the Big Ten to come back, which I was really impressed with. I'm like, damn, this is cool. Yeah. He's trying to lead the charge, get football back. So I was all about that too. Yeah, I'm good with Justin Fields, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm good with him at 2. I mean, that was the conversation earlier in the season, and I'm good with it now.
Yeah. And then I feel like we all got the same number 1 guy.
No, not some people. They got Zack Wilson, dude.
Oh, no. And even in this chat, it's some difference as well. So we're going to get to that in a second. But
I got nothing against Zack Wilson. It's just crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm a firm believer in, all right, I know what I've seen with this guy for the past how many years. It's a proven prospect. I know what this is. There is no debate. We knew what he was going to be from the time we saw him whoop up on Alabama in that first national championship game. Trevor Lawrence. You watch his tape, he looks like the perfect prospect. I mean, he's tall. He can throw. He can run. He takes the tough hits. He's played in the big moments as a young guy and even as a slightly older guy. It's never too big for him. And then I love the comment where he was honest and he's like, man, I've never felt like a chip was on my shoulder. They told me I've been great since I was 14. This is what I do. I love that energy because, hey, if you got to be the man, I want you to be the man. If you need to find that energy from some underdog being cool, but at the same time, being on top for that long, it's tough. So even with that, I'm like, man, I don't look at that as a negative. I know some people try to spin it as a negative, but to me, I'm like, man, this dude, you watch him play the game and it shows preparation, it shows love, it shows passion. I don't need to watch him and what he does in the offseason or what he does on Monday through Friday when I can watch him on tape and see this is a guy that's prepared. This isn't a guy that's out here throwing bad interceptions. This isn't a guy out here that looks like he's not prepared or looks out of shape or whatever else negative thing we can say about him. This guy looks like he's the perfect prospect. So I'm not about to come up here and act crazy, now that we, 2 weeks away from the draft? Nah, man, we rolling with the man. Give me Trevor.
Yeah, some people are saying that Zack Wilson's arm technique or throwing motion's a little bit better. It's a little tighter. It's like perfect and stuff. And Trevor Lawrence's maybe could use some work. It's like, dude, I mean, come on. I don't care about this shit.
After seeing
do I
Rivers,
want you tomorrow in a big game?
Right.
I want Trevor Lawrence. Out of all these guys, I want Trevor Lawrence.
No debate. Like, after seeing
if it's close enough, yeah, exactly.
Phillip Rivers is going to be a Hall of Famer. He has one of the ugliest releases of all time. I don't care about your release. Just get the job done. Can you?
If it's
close, and
if it's good, I mean, from everything I know, Trevor Lawrence release is fine. So if it's not perfect, it doesn't have to be. Like, you can work on that. Aaron Rodgers, his was shit coming out of goal. He held the ball up like way above his helmet.
I don't care about any of that.
Yeah,
he was still lighting up in college, was he not?
He was.
He's still good. He was good.
But you could fix that stuff easily, man.
Absolutely, bro. That doesn't bother me, man. And like you said, Trevor's definitely isn't broke. Looks fine.
No.
But anywho, let's see.
Yeah, our lists were close. We just flipped Mac and Wilson then.
All right, so let's check out what the chat says.
I keep wanting to say like Kyle Wilson or like Zack Williams with Zack Wilson, dude.
Yeah,
that name.
All right, so Cole says he has Kellen Mond.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
he's
I've
really
heard
good
that as well. Trey Lance at 4, Zack Wilson at 3, Justin Fields at
Mac.
2,
wow.
Trevor at 1.
The disrespect to Mac, dude.
Parentheses, I don't mess with Mac Jones. That's what he says.
The disrespect is real, dude. That's unreal.
All right, Thomas, he says hot take. He has Zack Wilson at 5.
Whoa.
Mac Jones at 4. Trey Lance at 3.
Whoa.
Trevor Lawrence at 2. Justin Fields at 1.
Whoa.
All right. Let's see. Vikesh, he says Kellen Mond at 5. Mac Jones at 4. Zack Wilson at 3. Justin Fields at 2. And then Trevor at 1. All right. Oh, I got a whole new update just popped through here. Wait a minute. All right. Let me get my spot back. Here we go right here. All right. And then Ultimate Elite, he says Trey Lance at 5, Mac Jones at 4, Justin Fields at 3, Trevor Lawrence at 2, Zack Wilson at 1.
You know what? I'd love to see it happen like this. That's just crazy though.
And then here's another one. From Eli. Eli says Mac Jones at 5, Justin Fields at 4, Trey Lance at 2. Trey Lance at 3. Trevor Lawrence at 2.
I can't believe
Zack
this,
Wilson
dude.
at 1, bro.